Hey everybody, and welcome back to I Got This podcast with Lex and MGP. My name is Lex. I've been a personal trainer for 7 years now. Martha is my client, and she has been with me for 4 years. Over our time together, she's lost over 60 pounds, and we have learned so much together. We've learned what works, what doesn't work, and more importantly, we've had so much fun doing it. So join us each and every week as we talk about whatever the hell we want. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our short summer series with Lex and MGP. Did you know by 2030, almost 60% of America will be obese?
Whew. That's shocking, right?
No, it's like so much.
And you think that seems like such an exaggeration, but then if you just start casually looking around, you're like, oh.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's insane. And let me give you the actual Harvard study. I'm sorry. This is from hsph.harvard.edu, so it is from a reputable source. About half of the adult U.S. population will have obesity, and about a quarter will have a severe obesity by 2030, according to a new study led by Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. The study predicts that 29 states, more than half of the population, will have obesity, and all states will have a prevalence of obesity higher than 35%. The study's researchers estimate that currently 40% of adults have obesity and 18% have severe obesity.
Whoa.
It's shocking.
I mean, it's Harvard, so I mean, I feel like that's reputable too.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I feel comfortable sharing that data. So, I mean, we talked about a few things prior to this episode that we were excited to touch on. The first thing was, though, what measures are we getting from that?
Right.
And I mean, here's the thing. I definitely don't think the BMI, which is body mass index.
Is that what this study used? Or does it doesn't really say, it just says obesity and overweight.
Actually, I'm really not sure what this study used.
Okay.
I'm assuming, though, if you go to the doctor, though, and, here it is. In addition to the effect of weight stigma, most common BMI category.
So, okay.
Yeah, it's a BMI category. So, I mean, here's the thing. So there are a few things. Like, is BMI an appropriate measure for this? It's hard.
Right.
Because I don't think it's 100% accurate. It's your waist to hip ratio.
Yeah. Height and weight. Scale plays a big part in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, it's not measuring your body fat percentage, your muscle mass,
right,
and your weight overall, right?
Right.
So I think it'd be way more effective if doctors' offices had a body fat percentage measure.
Sure.
There in an office. I think that'd be great to make sure that your muscle mass is strong and healthy and your body fat percentage is at a certain amount. But is it completely ignorant to use it? No. Not in the slightest. I mean,
the majority of people aren't out there lifting weights and building muscle, so
exactly.
So to apply to the, I guess, general
population. Yeah. So it's like that. I guess the next question is, like, a lot of people who are lifting weights might be technically, you said this, like The Rock might be obese.
You'd probably be severely obese if they just went height to weight.
Exactly. Because his muscle mass is so high.
And what he weighs. Yeah.
But guess what? Not many people are that.
Yeah.
So it's not.
He's an outlier. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
We know that.
I think we could argue for sure that measure is outdated, but we should also remember, like, maybe there's a reason that we're measuring our health status based on weight. I think a lot of people still are. I mean, it's true. If 60% more than half of America will be overweight by 2030.
That's only 7 years, 6.5 years.
I know, it's really scary. It's actually horrifying. So if we're looking at what we're measuring to get to that, I mean,
no matter what measuring device you use, there's always going to be an argument for validity. Let's be honest. So that's okay. But we can tell by casual observation that this is not that far off.
Just look around.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so funny. You made such a solid point. I said, I was going to get ice cream yesterday. And I said, everybody in that line was severely overweight.
And I said, you were going to get ice cream. You weren't going to the produce store.
Exactly. You were like, well, that's not a good indicator because of where I was.
Yes. And not that healthy people don't get ice cream. Of course,
yeah,
we do. But it was just kind of funny. I'm like, that could be a confounding variable with this.
Which was such a solid point, and I'm so happy you brought it up. But same thing with if you're at the gym.
Right.
the confounding variable. People are trying to get healthy. So
you're at the gym.
Yes. So it's hard to get a true measure of where this is.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to look around in your surrounding areas because at each surrounding point, it's going to be slightly different.
Right.
And there are pieces like socioeconomic status and like that type of thing that makes it difficult to learn healthy habits and have those resources. We're not ignoring that by any means.
I mean, think about it. You can go to Little Caesars and get a $5 hot and ready and feed your family.
Yeah.
What else can you get for $5 to feed your family?
Not much.
Although I think they're $6 now, baby.
I was going to say, how is inflation not infected that?
I think they are. I think I saw a commercial.
How much is a hot and ready? Let's see.
But I mean, still, you think about it, even if it's $6 or $7, that's still dirt cheap and you could feed,
so many people.
2-3 kids easily.
It's $5.55.
Oh, $5.55. Okay. That's how long it's been since I've had
$7.99 for a thin crust. Interesting. The thin crust is more expensive. So the thing that is probably healthier is more expensive.
Yeah. But you couldn't buy a meal.
No.
Let alone a fast food meal, let alone feed multiple people for that.
No.
So yeah.
So it does make sense.
For sure.
Without a doubt. So, but then I did look up factors. Okay. I was like, well, of course, the first question is, well, why? Why is America heading in this direction?
Okay.
2 things came up: processed foods and not moving enough. Those 2 things.
Oh yeah.
Processed foods and not moving enough. And so you talk about WALL-E.
Yes. So I said that made me think right away of that Pixar movie. And I didn't realize it was like 2008, I think it was, when we looked it up. But that movie WALL-E where basically the humans have destroyed the planet, right? And so they're out in space on a spaceship and they're all like in these tracksuits floating around on pods with screens. And they're so lazy they can't even chew their food. They're basically drinking pizza smoothies or whatever, something gross. But and then they eventually realize they need to get back to Earth. So that's why WALL-E is the robot and he's down on Earth trying to see if it can sustain life. But that's the premise of the movie, is where they've become. And I can't remember what year the movie is supposed to take place in, but it's in the future, but not that far in the future.
Yeah.
That, when you say those stats, you're like, oh, that's why I'm like, oh, it's WALL-E. And you kind of looked at me like, what?
That's super interesting too. Like, it was that long ago. And there was like this measure of like obesity on the rise because people are moving less. And then the thing is, you said this so well, like people are generally moving. You thought they were moving less before COVID. We talked about that many times, but post COVID, we're all moving so much less. You think delivery with groceries, you think delivery with like food delivery. Oh my God.
That wasn't even a thing.
It was not.
It was not a thing. You could not like go to the grocery. You had to go to the grocery store.
You truly had to walk into
the grocery store, pick out your groceries, put them in your cart and walk them back to your car.
Or if you want to take out from a restaurant, you had to go drive to the restaurant, pick it up yourself, right?
Right. There was pizza delivery. That's about it. I know,
nothing else.
It was really nothing else. And now even Target, I could go online, place my order. One, I could have it shipped to my house, but if I need it instantly, I can pull up in a little special parking spot, text them I'm there, and they run it out to my car.
Isn't that?
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And that was directly from COVID.
Convenience is becoming toxic.
Yeah.
To humans, for sure, without a doubt. And it's so funny. It's like, and then again, work from home. Another reason people aren't moving. Like, I think that people walking in an office, like getting up, going to your car, driving to the office. I get you're sitting in a car, but guess what? You're walking upstairs.
Even from the parking lot to the building.
Walking around that office on a daily basis. I know they say, well, it's less efficient because you're talking with more people. Well, guess what? Is human interaction less efficient? Like, let's be real. You're being efficient by walking around, going from thing to thing. Like, I don't know. I think it seems as though it's getting tremendously worse because of lack of movement. It's these little tiny things that we don't think are a big deal, but they absolutely are. And then, of course, America's processed food, which people are definitely becoming more aware. People are definitely, I think, trying to make a change. But it's, just like we just talked about the hot.
It's hard though.
It's hard.
Processed food, let's be honest, it's easy.
It's easy.
It's convenient.
It's
hyper palatable, so it's tasty. And you eat more of it than you think you're gonna.
Yes.
And in this grab and go kind of culture, it's just there.
And I'm not above it by any means. Like when I leave work, there's a Taco Bell right next to the gym,
Mhm.
guess what? The first thing I do, I'm like, I'm starving. I don't have like food at home, or I don't want to go run to the grocery store. I'm getting Taco Bell. Like
Mm,
that is
it's cheap
not
and easy.
cheap and easy. It is cheap and it's easy. And it's so sad that that is the first thing that our brains go to.
Mhm.
I mean, that number will only continue to rise.
Mhm.
That number will only continue to change, so adjust. So we need to figure out a way to be better. And it's so funny. I was not going to work out today, but now I am. I'm like, gosh, I got to move. I like woke up and laid on the couch, and I can't stand for that now. So it's very eye opening.
Yeah.
It's very eye opening.
Mhm.
And then, of course, so it's lack of movement is number one, processed foods is number two, and then habits. So, and it's so funny. It's like if your brain and your body are feeling good, you're going to perform better and more successfully in your place of work, in your place
For
of
sure.
business. But like if you continue to, you know, and in your relationships and all facets of putting, but the fact that we're heading in this direction is it's a bit scary, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is. And it's too easy, and you see it all around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm totally guilty of it
We
as
all are.
well. Yeah. And it's one of those things too, as I try to be more conscious of it, it seems like you see it more.
Yeah.
It seems magnified almost, right?
Absolutely.
Like you said at the ice cream store.
Yes, it's of course I'm working in it, so
Mhm.
I'm like, you need a personal trainer. You need a personal trainer, not out of basis of like every single person needs a personal trainer.
Right.
That's why I'm like, okay, my career will not be going out of style in my lifetime. That's for sure,
No.
because we all have habits that need to be better, and we all need accountability, and that's the word, accountability, to help make us better. So
Mhm. As everything gets automated and everything gets easier, movement goes down.
yeah,
And that's for sure.
freaking
We've got to figure it out.
You gotta figure it out. You know what a big one is, and I know it's funny, is it's you like yard work.
Mhm.
You can hire so many companies to do your yard work for you, and that's a really strong way. A lot of my male clients in their like 40s, 50s, 60s, that's how they're active on their off days. So they're like, well, I got to do like 2 or 3 hours of yard work,
Mhm.
but like I will pay for the rest of my life to get my yard work done. But that's part of my quick and efficiency. Like
Mhm.
I can't use that for part of my movement.
Right.
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 It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, we all know how much you love yard work.
Yard work. I know, but I'm just in movement patterns. So
Yeah. No, I get that.
this episode is meant to scare you. This episode is meant to be uncomfortable, and this episode is meant to talk about the reality of where we're heading.
Yeah. And I think, once you become aware of how little you don't realize how little you're moving until you start kind of tracking it and being aware of it. I'm 100% guilty.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, clearly I've got my 10,000 steps. And I'll look at my watch. I'm like, 2,000? Is it working? It's not working.
Yeah.
You just don't realize how little you're moving sometimes.
Yes.
And it's shocking and it's eye-opening. And you'll be like, oh, I worked out today. It's good. But that was like one isolated hour out of my day.
Truly.
And 100% guilty. So
I agree. I'm in the same boat.
So yep.
With that being said, we'll talk more about this in our next episode.
I got this. Hey guys, thanks for listening this week. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. For more I Got This content, please make sure to follow, like, and share on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or you can always go to our website, igotThisPod.com, for more info. As always, thanks for listening. See you next Monday.